Welcome to the Referrals Podcast, the show designed to help everyone from the solopreneur to the Fortune 500 company win the referral game. If you want to build a company with an army of ambassadors and raving fans who speak highly of you and refer you willingly, you are in the right place. And now, here is your host, Michael J. Maher.
What's up, people? It's Referrals Podcast time. It's Referrals Podcast. I know that's what you guys do too. I know that's what you do. Right before you click play on Referrals Podcast, you go, Referrals Podcast time. Yay. Oh, so I'm telling you right now, welcome to Referrals Podcast. If you're new, it's not always that kooky, that crazy to start with, but quite often it is. So get used to it. So I want to welcome all of you to Referrals Podcast. And if you've been listening to us, thank you so much for being a repeat listener. And if you view us on YouTube, at the YouTube channel, Get Referrals, thank you so much for doing that as well. Please do us a favor, rate, review us when you get a chance. I have a quick shout out that I got to give to Shantae Brown out of Lake Norman Realty. She said, thank you so much. I loved the virtual RMS 2021 event, the 2020 event, and I signed up for the 2021 event, RMS 21, and I can't wait. So Shantae Brown, thank you so much for that. The call to action is Referral Mastery Summit is now virtual. You can go to rms21.com and use the code PODCAST to attend for $400 off. You heard that right. Podcast. It's September 29th, 30th, and October 1st, rms21.com. Today, we have another special edition for you. Hopefully, you've been tuning in every day to get your daily dose of referral strategies. We are doing the top 10 hot referral tips of top producers. Today, we are going to talk to none other than a regular within the Gen environment, Tara Carter. Tara Carter has years of hospitality management, new construction, and marketing under her belt. Tara is one of the most sought-after realtors in Coral Springs, Fort Lauderdale, Florida area. Her team closed $30 million a couple of years ago through almost 100% referral, and credits the success of that to the 7L strategies that feed her soul. Tara is a founding member of Michael J. Maher Certified Referral Trainers. After attending all of the Gen events for the last 3 years, Tara was requested by Michael to speak on his mastermind panel in Las Vegas in 27, hosted by Magic Johnson, and has been hosted in the past by George Bush and Tony Robbins and several others over the years. Tara is known among her peers as a trailblazer for ideas, ethical business, and leading the industry in love, generosity, and appreciation. Even though Tara has been given many wonderful titles by the business world, the titles that mean the most to her are daughter and godmother. Welcome back to Referrals Podcast, Tara.
I'm super excited to be here. Thanks.
So good to see you. So good to see you. Everything going well with you?
It's going great. No complaints.
I'm telling you, for those of you that are listening to the podcast, you've got to go view this on YouTube just to see the environment that Tara is coming to us with today. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing it out there that's my teaser for those of you that listen to the audio podcast is you got to go to YouTube, Get Referrals, and check it out. So, all right, our real focus here is the top 10 hot referral tips of top producers. And we're now on number 6. You're number 6. And it's one of those where, so how did you get your last referral, Tara?
That last referral came from following up with a past client in regards to their birthdays, actually.
Wow. Now this is interesting. So is this were they a buyer client or a seller client?
They were a buyer that had moved away to another area and another state and worked with another realtor and that we had introduced them to. And when that realtor came across another family that needed to sell, she called us to interview us.
Now that's interesting. So, all right. So this is a person out of town. What did you do as far as the birthday? What was your follow-up on the birthday?
So they still get a card, even if they move out of the area. They get a happy birthday card for, anybody that's in the family that we're in contact with, and have their dates, which are taken from the title company at closing with their ID. Makes it really easy.
Yep.
Or Facebook makes it even simpler.
Right. Or a VIP form, right? For
Yeah,
those that are using
absolutely.
VIP forms. Yep.
And then the agent that we had worked with, we also took their information and added that into our database as an out of area referral connection. So they were in our CRM with the follow up.
So let me ask you that. So this is a friend of yours that lived in your area, or is this a friend of yours that you referred as a buyer client to another agent in another area?
It was a buyer client that was referred to another agent in another area. And then collectively they thought of us when a new family from that area wanted to come down here.
All right. So this buyer bought in that area. What's the city? Just so I've got some reference point. Where did they buy at?
They're in Ohio.
Okay. So they bought in Ohio, and the agent there helped them, and you referred them to that agent. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Now, the friend in Ohio has a friend who's moving to the Fort Lauderdale area.
Yep.
All right. So they referred it back.
They did.
Okay. So you sent the birthday card. Take me through what the next, like in the timeline, how did they get back in touch with you, or did you get in touch with them?
Well, there's also a little nugget that you always taught me, and you always call them the day before their birthday so that you're the first person in the first call. And so that was very helpful. And then the next step was that was the birthday conversation, asking them how's life, how's business, how's this whole new world going for you. And it kind of led into, are you enjoying the neighborhood? Are you meeting new friends? And from that came the conversation of, they think that they know somebody that's looking to possibly move down here.
It's such a small world, isn't it? But that's the thing that I hope everybody gets out of this is, we call them forever clients, because they really are forever clients. You need to stay in touch. People are always like, well, they sold in Kansas City and they're moving to Denver. Why would I follow up with them in Denver? Well, here's what happens. There's two things that happen. One, those people who used to live in the area still have a lot of friends and colleagues and connections in your area that may say something about, hey, you use Tara, should I use Tara too? That does happen. And then the other thing that happens is when they're in Denver and people know they're from Kansas City comes up in conversations, especially around, we know somebody moving to Kansas City. Wouldn't it be great if they go, oh my gosh, I have the exact person that you need to talk to make sure that happens like it should. So these are forever clients. So the big thing here is that you did the day before the birthday call, and basically you just called the day before and wished them happy birthday. They answered the phone, so you had a conversation with them. And then, all right, so they're like, I think I know somebody that's moving to the area. What was the kind of the next step there?
Well, they also had a realtor that we didn't have such a great, like a strong relationship with. So we asked for that introduction in regards to that realtor, and they said that they were interviewing multiple agents because this was a luxury sale, and their price range was between 3 and 4 million. And, my mom and I, were teamed up, and we said, well, you're moving to Fort Lauderdale, like, give us the opportunity to show your clients how we do business differently and offer concierge service. And that was basically how it started.
So, all right. So now the client, the friend in Ohio had the friend. And by the way, did they give you that information, or how did you get the information of the referral?
The information from the referral came after she had interviewed us. And I don't know how many other people she interviewed after she interviewed us and called us back.
Was it the agent interviewing you, or was it the client? All right. So the agent friend was interviewing agents to refer it to the area. And so the agent talked to several different people, and you said, hey, listen, just give us a shot with the buyer client down here. I think they're going to see the difference, right? Just let us show them some homes. And she or he, the agent, agreed to that, and they came down, right?
Yep, they came down. And they actually bought a house sight unseen, and then that deal didn't work out during the inspection period.
Wow.
And
With
then
you?
yeah, with us.
Wow. Now that's interesting, right?
Yeah, I want to say it was David Cassidy's house. I don't know. It was interesting, although it just didn't fit what they were looking for. They got a little fearful, so we canceled. No big deal. And then they scheduled time to come down.
Okay. And so tell us a little bit about your concierge service. What does that look like? How is that different? What are 2 or 3 things that you do within that that are differentiators?
Always a car service.
Mm-hmm.
So in this example, I use a service called Red Cap, which they can utilize your own car. And because there was no rentals available, so I have another agent who I have a great relationship with, and I know he has a nice big Escalade. And I said, can I use your car? And can I have a driver?
Yeah, there you go.
So I having relationships with local agents as well. There's enough to go around. And he lended me his Escalade, and we had a car service. I always have a cooler in the car as well with cold drinks, sparkling flat, and snacks, because you just never know. I did put a little bit of alcohol in there because I wasn't sure if they were drinkers. Maybe they
That's
need
right.
flat.
That's right. Just a touch. Just a touch.
We're not driving.
Yeah.
And yeah, so the car service, we picked them up. I already had reservations in between showings just based on what I knew about them. I knew that they loved the yacht club. I knew that they were
Now, how did you know that?
based on the conversation that we had with them, kind of, what's your reason for wanting to move down here? Because they had been coming down here for 20 plus years, staying at the Marriott, and everybody at the Marriott knows their name. And they wanted to be they like the yacht clubs that they have where they're at. And they wanted to be part of an exclusive community and have a second, home here.
Yeah. So they found that home.
They did. Well, and interesting enough, to go even a little deeper on my concierge service, the first home that we found was breathtaking. It took a little bit. We found it so breathtaking to the point where they wanted to live the golf cart yacht club life. Mm-hmm. So I set up a second showing the next day. I told the agent, I said, listen, my clients love this house, but in order to solidify this opportunity, I need the following from you. I need to come by tomorrow during sunset with and utilize the house for at least an hour. And we're going to live there, meaning I'm bringing champagne, I'm bringing wine. I'm going to get a golf cart to take us from the house to dinner at the yacht club so they can look what it would feel like to have drinks in the backyard on the water with these yachts. So
brilliant. That is a brilliant idea.
And then I got a golf cart, and we took the golf cart to the yacht club and had dinner. And I even invited the listing agent and his partner too. I mean, I didn't mind. If not, we can all get together. And so we made an offer, a very, very good offer. And unfortunately, the next day, the seller said, you know what? I don't even think I want to sell anymore.
Wow. You made it seem so nice that the seller didn't want to sell. Yeah.
And I was like, are you kidding? So I tried for 3 weeks to convince that seller to sell. And it was devastating for them. It was devastating for me because that house literally checked off everything.
Yeah. And they were invested. I mean, they literally lived in it for a day.
Yeah. We set up everything, and that was very unfortunate. I even tried to help the other agent find them a new home, and their motivation wasn't there. That agent should have never taken that listing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So then we found another one, and coincidentally enough, I hope that agents hear this. This is a house that I had previously seen on a weekend during an open house, and I never thought of it for them because it was so poorly staged. And then we go into the house, it crosses a little further than they would like to be. And we walk into the house, and I'm like, wait a minute, I've been in this house. And then I asked them, and I was like, did you guys stage this? And I'm like, this looks like a totally different house. This house wasn't a house. It was a home. It was the perfect home for them. And I never thought of it because the staging.
Yeah. You discounted it earlier based on the address because you had this image in your head of what it looked like.
Yeah.
And then you were forced to go back into it, and you're like, wow, this is what a home can really look like. This might be the best advertising for staging in the history of the world. You got to stage your homes. It
gets better because not only is that staging person my right-hand referral source now as well, I actually just closed a little over $1 million that she referred me to because of the relationship I built with her. My buyers bought the house fully staged down to the books that were on the shelves. And then they hired her to stage 3 more rooms and design them.
Oh my gosh. I love it. So they bought it furnished. They bought it complete. They just
Complete.
we want everything. I
Down to
love it.
glassware, down to towels, down to you name it, completely furnished.
That's awesome. I'm guessing they weren't using cardboard and like a blow up mattresses for the rooms. I'm guessing.
No, well, there's some mattresses we had to change out, and some
The things we do for staging is sometimes
Yep,
just absolutely wacky. So
it
I
is.
love that. I love that. All right. So, and then you just recently closed this, and I hear there was a bonus involved.
There was. I'll never forget. We were sitting at dinner and going over, the offer that we're going to make. And they said to me, sometimes buyers will say, they said, how much is the commission? And I
Hmm.
said, I don't know. Now, this is a $3.5 million home. I didn't even look. I would figured it was 2, 3, who knows? And I said, I don't know. And I looked and I said, they're offering 3%. And I was waiting for him to do what my last buyer did and ask me for my commission.
Yeah.
I'm like, here we go. They're going to ask
Yep.
me for my money.
Here comes the
Look at my
question.
pockets.
Yep.
And he said, that's not enough. And I said, excuse me? And he said, that's not enough. You guys have gone, my mom and I, you guys have gone above and beyond. You guys have given us the best level of service. We want to give you more. And I literally looked at him like dumbfounded. And I was like, that is very gracious. You don't have to do that. And he's like, no, I want to. And then his wife said, you just let him do it. And I said, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. When somebody
And
wants to give you money or give you a gift, just say yes.
you
Right?
do it. Yeah.
Just go,
And then
yes, sir. Yep.
the craziest part was he asked me, I had to write an addendum for it. I didn't want the listing agent to see it. So I wrote an addendum for an extra 2% on top of I think we sold 3.25. And then it gets even better. We're at the closing table and he said, I didn't see where the 2% is. And I'm thinking, it's there. Trust me,
Yeah.
it's there. And he said, well, how much did you have to give the referral agent? And I said, well, we had to give her 30%, but honestly, we would have never met you if it wasn't for her. He goes, well, she doesn't deserve the 30%. I said, well, that's the conversation you need to have with her. Like, we're more than happy. It's fine. After closing, we go to dinner and this couple slides over 2 checks to my mom and I. And I didn't even, goosebumps. I didn't even look at the check. It's just thinking like, you just paid us 2% on top and now you're giving me more money because the realtor that referred us took 30%. And I just started crying. I literally just started crying. And I didn't even want to look at it. And he's like, just take it, please. And, go do something nice for your Nana. And I was like, I just can't.
Wow. That is awesome. Tara, this all started with a birthday card and a day before the birthday call.
And
What if you hadn't made the call?
Honestly, it took me 2 weeks, I won't even lie, to cash that check because I'm like, I worked a whole year for money like this. Like, this is the biggest check I've ever had in my life. I couldn't even cash it. And honestly, if I didn't make that one birthday call to have a simple person in your CRM that you add and you just put in one time what their birthday is, and it just automatically reminds you on its own every year. It's like 3 clicks of a button.
That's amazing. Right now, every single listener to the Referrals podcast is sending out, what's your birthday? And checking Facebook for birthdays and going to start implementing the VIP form. But more importantly, like they're going to get on the phone and make those day before the birthday or even the birthday call, the day of the birthday. A phone call is a lot more powerful than a Facebook post or an email or even a text message. It's pretty cool to get a phone call. So Tara, I love this. This is such an awesome story, and not all the day before birthday calls end up like this, but the fact that one does, I do this day before the birthday call with I do it all the time, and I just have this one great relationship I was telling Tara before the podcast today that we've had one of our busiest weeks ever in the history of ReferCo because of RMS and everything that's going on. And a great relationship that came into my life was somebody I've done a day before the birthday call for 10 straight years. And they finally have this wonderful opportunity. And it's just get on the phone and make a call. It's easy to make a birthday call.
It's simple.
Right. It's simple, but not always easy. Right.
Yeah, that's success.
So So that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I'm telling you right now, it's a strategy anybody can implement. It doesn't cost you a dime, and the results could be a really big check slid across to you at dinner. And Tara, I really, really appreciate you coming on again as our guest on Referrals Podcast.
Well, thanks for having me. Always a pleasure.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is number 6 in the top 10 hot referral tips of top producers. Today we were with Tara Carter. I hope you implement this today. Otherwise, we will see you tomorrow with number 7. Have a great one, everybody.